G'day everyone. It's been a while since I did a video, so I thought I'd put one together on reporting in NextMinute and all the different variants of the reports you can actually get out of the system. So there's quite a number. I'll go into a little bit more detail and try and break this video down into maybe segments if I can make it easier for you guys to find those. But where we're going to begin with the reporting is obviously the home screen. And the home screen, I'm just in a dummy account, so the information here is pretty poor. But these are very, very basic level reports to get an idea on what's going on in your business at a very basic level. Now this is due for a big overhaul at some stage. So I won't, go into too much detail on this. And let's just move down to the next kind of reporting that you've got, which is under timesheets, just down here. Now, timesheet reports can be generated to give you a good overview of all of the time entered, obviously by all of your staff members over any given range of time, whatever you define. So to do a report, just simply go to report here. Helps to maximize the view, just click here. You can zoom in a bit. And here's the report. So if you select multiple staff members on the right hand side, when you click preview, it regenerates that report for whatever date range you might have. So I've still got the single page because I've just got a very short date range, and if I'll give this a couple of months to look at. Preview that again, and there we go. So this report naturally is segmented by date range and day, and as you see, the information given there is the start and the end time. And the entry type in this case for this staff member, so we're looking at Mr. Subby. For this staff member, the entry type was time range. So that meant on their mobile phone, they entered a start time and a finish time. Duration as an entry type here, just while I'm on the entry types, is basically they go to a job and they say, oh, I've done 8 hours, for example. In this case, it was 5 hours. Now this will show obviously the job and the task that it's entered against if you are using tasks, and whoever your customer is at the time as well. And as you scroll down, you see more and more hours, and as you go through the pages up the top there with these arrows, this takes you to further entries by the same staff member. When you get to the next staff member in line, it's just going to show their name first. So that's me, and that's some example entries I've done using a couple of different methods there. Now all reports, this covers all reports that I'm going to be showing you in NextMinute, can be printed off if you hit the printer icon there. That'll prepare a document for you, and it'll basically retrieve that and allow you to print it off as a PDF or straight to your printer if you need to. I'll cancel that one for now. Now if you do want to download these documents, that can also be done. Just mouse over the download icon. You've got download as PDF. CSV file, Excel if you want to use it for your own workings, and so on and so forth. The other options up top here that are useful is the send button. This will allow you to actually email out this report directly to any recipients you want to actually receive this. So if I just select myself, go next, then you can template up an email to go with that. It'll go naturally as a PDF to whoever you're sending it to. So that's timesheet reports by user by day. I'll just move on to the next reports down now. So I'll move my way down this list. We'll have a look at jobs next. If I go into jobs here, to all jobs, then what you can do from this view here is just click into any existing jobs, of course, and you've got a reports button on the top right hand side. Now if I click on reports there, there's a back costing summary and a financial report. Now I'll cover the financial report first. Now just like the other report, as mentioned, these can be downloaded, printed off, sent off if you need to, and the financial report per job will show an estimate cost for the job. And remember, this is a cost, not a charge out amount, so this is what it's costing your business broken down into these categories. The actual cost comes from if you add labour, chargeable labour to the job, chargeable materials, disbursements or other items. So remember, that's still a cost. If there's any charges you're adding to a job which you're not actually going to invoice for, they might be non-billable charges, or you can write those off. and obviously the estimated revenue is the total amount that you're actually selling, whatever amount you've quoted for, I guess, in this respect. So have a bit of a play with that. This is not a great example of a job to demonstrate this report. The invoice is the actual revenue, the amount in total you've invoiced, broken down by labour materials disbursements. Anything unbilled would still be here if you've added, for example, a timesheet entry, a supplier invoice, and that was added to the charges. Any materials from your materials list, that would all show up there. The amount to invoice is obviously showing here, and this is as a negative because I've over invoiced in terms of the labour element here. So like I say, not a great example. Then obviously your gross profit margins here. And this is obviously the most accurate once you've kind of gone through the stages of an estimate versus actual, and you've invoiced a certain amount. Now the margin here is obviously in a percentage, and that's a very healthy profit margin, completely unrealistic, but you get the idea. This is going to accumulate quite nicely there. And obviously you've got a nice little chart down the bottom there with a breakdown of these different elements, estimated for labour there, invoiced amount for labour as an example. Cool, so that's a financial report on a job. Now moving on from there, let's have another look at the back costing summary. Now the back costing summary includes a few other elements, such as an amount ordered from your suppliers and invoices brought back into NextMinute from your suppliers. So if you are bringing those in from Xero or MYOB or manually creating them in NextMinute, they will show up in there, so it gives you a better picture of the overall job. Also, with your jobs, if you do break them down into tasks, it's going to allow you to look at the tasks amount quoted versus ordered, supplier invoices, and so on. Now, at that stage, if you've got really large jobs, so say you're a builder and you've got multiple different stages, it will give you a big list of tasks here. But we're not quite there yet in terms of our product, and we will be very soon. Just on future developments, we're going to improve our back costing substantially. At the moment, if you quote against a job, the figure's going to be against the job, but it's not going to be broken down into tasks. And the goal there is basically to allow you to, once you're quoting, if you've got those stages on the quote, is to break that out into the different quoted amount against the tasks there. So try and have a bit of an imagination, I guess, in that respect, but useful report nonetheless. All right, and moving on from those reports, there is one other report I want to show you before I go further down into these ones, and that is if you're in your contacts here. If you go to your contacts, say I go to all contacts, and I look at Joe Blogs as an example. If you've got a contact, a customer you work with that you do a lot of work for, and you want to look at all of the jobs you've done from them as a report, just go to reports against a contact, and you'll see the similar ones as with the job. And if I go to financial report for Joe Blogs, this will actually give us a printout of all of the jobs we've done for Joe Blogs. Okay, so you'll see 1 of 7 up top there. This is bathroom fit out. Next page is blocked drain. Next page is quote site test, which makes no sense. But you get the idea. This is really handy if you've got a client specifically you're doing a lot of work for. You can generate reports for this, and of course download them as a PDF, CSV, Excel, or send them off if necessary to anyone in your team or external to your business. Okay, so moving on from financial reports, let's have a look at the other reports. Now if I go to reports down here, there's a few others that you can generate. So job charge summary by type. Now the description really is in the description right here, I should say. Just view the summary of unbilled charges, quotes, orders invoiced, and supplier invoices for unarchived jobs grouped by type. So if I go here, and if you've got all the different types of jobs set up, this is going to generate reports based on whatever types those are. So this one's got no job type. This job type is bathroom reno, okay, quoted ordered, purchased, billed, unbilled. So you can probably see where I'm going with this. If you break your jobs down into job types, you can look at your business and go, right, for my bathroom renovations, just as an example, how have I done overall? Next one across, just custom, deck type jobs, domestic heat pump, but you get the idea. It might be useful for your business if you dig into this a bit and have a bit of a look. Now moving on from there, there's job charge summary by user. Very similarly, it breaks down how many or what charges individual users or your staff members have added to the system. Not going to focus on this one now. Pretty much the same as this, just by user. Now under Timesheet Reports, you've got Payroll Report, which is very, very handy. If you click on Payroll Report here, this will allow you to select all your staff on the right-hand side, and basically allow you to look at a summary for whatever user for any hours they've entered over any given date range. So I'm just going to give this a couple of months. We'll go back to August the 1st, preview this one. Okay, so we've got 4 pages now, and I can see for Mr. Subby, our first guy, these are the jobs he's done. There's the hours in total for each job over this date range. I'll go ahead a page here. In total for this date range for Mr. Subby is 53 hours. That's pretty handy to know. Next page across, of course, is another staff member, me, and we haven't got any hours for Mr. Contractor that you'll see on the side. So that's a very useful report. The Timesheets by User report is very similar to the Payroll report. So I won't go into too much detail there. And there's also Timesheets by User by day. So that's going to show the job, but also the individual days of entry that staff members do. Below that, there's Timesheets by job. Now this here will generate a report for any given date range, which will break it down by job. So before in the reports, it had staff member up the top, and this was hours by staff member. This time around, you can see the staff member's name right where the start is, but we can see that the job is this job number and code, and it's for job logs. There's the total hours there. So if you have multiple jobs or multiple jobs over a specific date range, I'll just do that now. Preview that. This is going to give me a multi-page document for individual jobs. So domestic heat pump, window clean, and it obviously continues. Now, I do understand not everybody's going to use all of these reports, but I want to go through them in a bit more detail just to show you, and then you can utilize what you think is best for your business. It's also quite useful if you do want to discuss this with anyone. There's the ability to hide the buy or the sell prices. So if you don't want to discuss or show the your cost to your business, tick this box, click preview, and it'll just hide the buy rate across multiple pages. So obviously you've got the sell rate there, or if you just want to show the hours, you can obviously hide the sell prices there as well. Now finally, if you are in the position where you're doing charge up type work, this timesheets by job detailed report is really quite handy, and it's frequently used. It's one of my favorite reporting features in our system currently. If I go to timesheets by job detailed, the first screen asks me, what job do I want to report for? So at this stage, if you can imagine you've got a client you're doing quite a bit of work for, and they want to see how many hours you've logged so far. Not necessarily financially, or maybe they do, but they want to check the hours maybe against what you're invoicing them for. What you want to do is just select the job you're doing. So I'm just going to go select none in this case. There is also filters here if you want to filter by type, status, and all of the other stuff, or who it's assigned to. I'll leave the filters alone, and I'm going to go with painting example for timesheets. Select that one, go OK. There's further grouping options if you want to group it by the entries by task or stage of the job if you want to. So big building job, you might want to group it by those stages. Or you can just click OK to continue, and I'll do that in this case. So if I click OK there. Now this report here, as you can see, specific for this job, total hours and the entry types, everything here. And what you can do is you can go, I want to actually hide the pricing, preview it again, and now you've got a nice little report sitting there for whoever your client might be, with the total hours that have been logged, and then they can now compare that against maybe the invoicing if you want to give that much visibility. So yeah, really handy reporting there. Going to be making more videos soon, so stay tuned, but hopefully you found that useful. Cheers.